On this hunt, we set out to settle the score with some really big pigs that were eating us out of house and home. We had an arrow sail wide. I had to ditch my wedding ring.
I'm taking it off in the woods.
And Dad stuck his fingers in a buffalo chopper. And somehow we came out of it with some stinking good Eastern North Carolina barbecue.
Oh, son, that dog will hunt.
Happy fall, y'all. It is finally here. It is deer season, but I got a problem. Wild hogs are tearing up my deer sights, eating me out of house and home, and running my deer off. When this happens, there's only one thing you can do. Call up your friends and family, grab your night vision, and get in those woods.
Okay, before we step out into the clearing, I want to lay our equipment down. Take a look up to the end and see if there's any hogs or anything up there. We can set up and go ahead and take a shot. I'll tell you what, I've always dreamed about having one of those hunts. It's like when you walk in, you take the shot, and you load up and you're back home for supper. If we do, I'll buy you a steak. All right, I'm gonna hold him to it.
Turns out, we might have to keep an eye on Dad when it comes to keeping promises regarding food.
Wait. Who's got the roast beef sandwiches? I got hungry on the way down here. There are no roast beef sandwiches. Roast beef sandwich. I was promised a roast beef sandwich.
But it wasn't to be, and our dreams of an early night and a steak dinner quickly faded. So we climbed on in our blind and got set for a long night. Without our roast beef sandwiches. When I'm crossbow hunting, the first thing I always do is pick some landmarks and check my yardages. Now, night vision kind of messes with my depth perception, but you gotta have these landmarks. Then I discovered I'd left my gloves in the car. What started out as a sneak attack to even the odds with some hogs started to feel like amateur hour in the hogwoods.
I'm taking this off and putting it in my book bag. I'm taking it off in the woods.
Still in all, somehow we still got our opportunity. It wasn't the big pig we were down there for. Dad got a look at him just before dark, but he wouldn't commit. Dad likened his size to some year of a vintage Buick. Then this pig showed up just after dark.
It's not the biggest one. Do we want him? That's not Bruiser. It's not a Buick, I know that. You don't think it's one of the big ones? No, I don't think so. What do you think? I don't know how you tell how big it is from there. I know it's not a Buick. I've looked at that pig a lot. He's coming closer. Yeah, broadside. Almost quartering. I'm having trouble getting the yardage at this point. You want a pig or no? We gotta get rid of him. I think he's at 30.
Now, as a hunter, you always want to bring down an animal quickly, cleanly, and make an ethical shot. In this case, I had a perfect broadside on this pig at what I later confirmed was exactly 30 yards. If anything, the crosshairs were a little bit behind where I'd like for them to be because of the position of his right shoulder. But as we advance the frame, you can see the bolt just sails up and to the left. And for reasons that I really can't explain, I know this exact bolt was perfectly zeroed before we left the house that day. I was just sick to death at the thought of having a wounded animal out there. Thankfully, we were able to pick up the trail with no problem, and he only went about 75 yards.
Well, there's the arrow, and there's the pig, baby. There's the pig. That is not the pig that we call man bear pig down here, but that is a good eating size pig. I bet I know somebody who'd be glad to have him.
Me.
Good eating size pig, man. I'm excited. I'm grateful for this pig, man. I'm telling you. When they get real big and they've been out here, they've been feral for a long time, a lot of times it's not the best eating pig. Something that's kind of medium sized like this, just absolutely awesome, man. Tastes as good as store-bought, maybe even better. Let's get this guy cleaned up. We're gonna go ahead and field dress him here. We'll get him back, and then we'll go ahead and process him up, smoke this thing in just a couple of days. When you got a big job to do, you call in a professional. We're not in the most, eloquent of settings or backdrops back here, but it'll get the job done. We're out here on a loading dock. I got a box truck behind me. We got the camper from the former hunt club. We got dumpsters down here. We're in the middle of like an industrial park back here. But this is the perfect place to do it. We just need a place where we can fit this giant commercial smoker.
Today we've got a commercial cooker. This isn't something you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pick up. This is a cook shack used in restaurants. I bought it 18 years ago when I was doing barbecue. and never got rid of it because I like it.
That's the thing that's kind of surprising to me, is that you don't have much wood in here at all.
No, two sticks, and that'll burn up probably. I usually soak it in water, but I didn't have time today, so this
What kind of wood is it?
That's red oak. Red oak. I used to buy hickory and all that stuff. It's not worth it. I get this off the wood pile, cut it in bigger blocks. It lasts a little bit longer. It'll probably burn up in about 2 hours. We can always come back though and add more to it. The meat we're cooking today isn't that thick, so we're not going to be cooking for 7 hours, but we'll adjust it as we go.
After all the wild game we've cleaned and all the species that we've harvested, I'm always reminded how important it is to take proper care of your harvest from the time that you pull the trigger. And all the time and attention that you showed during the cleaning and butchering process has a direct impact on how your meal will taste.
I know we were talking, it's just remarkable. It's the cleanest, even the wild pigs, that I've ever run across.
Zero smell.
No smell to it
Zero
whatsoever.
smell.
But this was just, I couldn't get over the cleanliness of this animal.
Okay, so when we started the cooker, I set it for 7 hours. It's taken us a little while to get the meat ready. We're at 525 now. Probably be okay to cook the meat for that long. We might want to go 6. We'll be checking it so we can always add time to it. We're going to cook on 220. That's slow, but not too slow.
And while I was at it, I decided to go ahead and bust out some of these barbecue rubs from PS Season I've just been itching for a chance to use. We used them on the back straps, tenderloins, and ribs, and buddy, it almost didn't matter the flavor. They did not disappoint. My favorite was the homemade apple pie. Fast forward a few hours, we had wrapped most of the meat in the smoker in aluminum foil just to help preserve the moisture.
Look at that. Look at that. Alleviates all fears of this stuff being dried out. Well, at least the foil's not dried out.
No, that was the last of the moisture in the meat leaking out. Nice piece of little darker meat there. Real moist. Try that.
Let me try it. Oh, son. That dog will hunt.
So you got a little bit outside. Right, ready? Perfect.
All right, so let's get on to the chopped. I want to see how this buffalo chopper works. Have you ever noticed like when you put that meat in to process that first time, have you ever noticed like a finger coming back around out of that chopper?
No, I can't get my hand back there.
Ah! Are you sure? That stuff turned out, I mean, it's good eating, but it's turned out a little bit dry for our taste. How are we going to get the moisture back into this? Have you ever encountered that before?
Oh yeah. We're in North Carolina, and North Carolina has 3 different kinds of barbecue. You got Eastern, you got Lexington, and then you got something out west in the mountain area that they use more of a sweet sauce. Lexington is kind of a blend between sweet and vinegar, but Eastern North Carolina is vinegar-based sauce. Very simple. That's my favorite. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a vinegar sauce on this. All right, so I took a half a gallon of apple cider vinegar, and I put 5 ounces of salt in it. I like kosher salt. And put a little bit of red pepper in there. It doesn't do a whole lot for the flavor, in my opinion, but it looks nice. But what we do is just soak the meat in the vinegar. And then just mix it by hand.
Now, is that kind of the extent of the sauce that you're going to put on it, or is that just kind of a base for something else you're going to do?
You can eat it with just this on it if you want to. Most of the restaurants in Eastern North Carolina, the barbecue restaurants, when you go in, they got a bottle of this sitting on the table to put straight on the meat. I like to do mine right after I chop it. It absorbs it better.
So this is why you don't really season the meat before you put it in the smoke.
Yeah. You can eat it just like this. Vinegar's just a little bit stronger, but if we're going to put this in some Ziploc bags, leave it in the refrigerator overnight, give that vinegar time to saturate into the meat. It tastes better. It's really good.
Now with that vinegar sauce, this Eastern North Carolina style barbecue, Can you still come back and put, like if somebody wants a red base sauce or something, if that's their preference, or is it just vinegar?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The vinegar, I mean, you can taste it, but it just doesn't overpower. You would think it would, but it doesn't.
So we bagged up all the chopped barbecue, and I was anxious to give this stuff a try after it had sat for a few days. And I got my chance when we climbed down out of the deer stand and I met the family down at Mom and Dad's for a hot meal.
Try a little bit of this.
Like all the decorations, I love walking around.
I love seeing all the creepy things that people do.
Son,
I love heroin stuff.
that's better than it was the first day.
Like I said, you put the vinegar sauce on when you chop it, give it a couple days in the refrigerator. Tastes perfect.
And it is perfect. The ribs look like they turned out. We try to do a lot of fancy pants dinners with wild game. Sometimes, especially when you're hungry and you just got out of the woods, there's nothing better than a paper plate and a whole bunch of barbecue. Keep it simple. All right, I got a mouthful of food. We got a house full of hungry people. I just got out of the woods and I'm starving to death, so we're gonna get over here and get everybody fed. Thank you guys for being with us. We'll see you guys next time. God bless every one of you.